Hi everyone, welcome to Courage Coaching. I'm Athena. Now, for those of you who already know my channel, you know that most of the topics I talk about are related to narcissism, as well as finding ways to heal when you live with CPTSD. Now, in today's video, I wanted to focus on a topic that has affected me very recently, unfortunately. Some of you may know that I recently lost my dog. She was an 8-year-old dachshund, a sausage dog. She was the most beautiful, adorable, loving being in my life. She was very sassy, really happy. She was always following me around everywhere. She was literally my shadow and my best friend. And losing a dog has been extremely heartbreaking for me. I never knew that I could love a being so much and feel such profound pain and grief when I lost her. Now, this all happened very suddenly. I lost her within 24 hours. She collapsed on the floor, actually, when I was in the middle of making a video, and I was completely distraught. And we took her to the emergency vet. They stabilized her overnight. The next morning, they called us hopeful, saying that she was going to come home to us. A few hours later, she deteriorated. She had an aneurysm. She was showing so many different neurological problems. So they did more blood tests, and they realized that her immune system was shutting down. She had extremely high inflammation. She had severe anemia. Her blood wasn't clotting anymore. And what they told us was that they suspected that she may have had a tick bite several months ago, and that the disease that the tick had poisoned her little body with, and that is what destroyed her immune system. So I was called in to go and euthanize her, which, as you can imagine, was extremely shocking, extremely difficult. My partner was at work, he couldn't be there, so I had to go and do that alone. And I felt awful. I felt that I'd let her down. I felt that I hadn't protected her. And I was feeling so many intense emotions in that moment. But I said to myself, you've got to do this. It's the kindest thing you can do. You don't want your baby girl to suffer. So I went ahead and I said goodbye. Now, when you have CPTSD, when you don't have close family, when you have had a really unstable upbringing, you may not have experienced unconditional love in your life, and an animal provides that. Animals, dogs in this case, are extremely unconditionally loving. They are always present. You are everything to them. They are always living in the moment. They are always happy about a piece of cheese or a new toy. They are there with you, curled up on the sofa or the bed, having little snuggles. Every time you're having a hard day, you come home and you see that beautiful little being, so happy to see you that it instantly lifts your spirits. And what I realized in my own experience was how much my dog provided me with emotional support, a huge amount of emotional support. She didn't even have to say anything. All she had to do was look at me. I believe that the relationship that we have with animals is extremely healing, especially for those of us with CPTSD. So in this video, I wanted to talk about how important that is, how difficult it is for somebody to grieve for an animal whilst also having CPTSD. With CPTSD, we do struggle with so many symptoms in our day-to-day lives, with our hypervigilance, with the difficulty regulating our emotions. We have anxiety. We have moments where we really don't feel that we're in control of our lives. Some of us may be completely alone, whereas others may only have a partner but no family. And for me personally, the first few days after losing her, I was distraught. I had really high levels of anxiety. I was really struggling. But I told myself, this is normal under the circumstances. You've just been through a big shock. You have very suddenly lost your 8-year-old dog, which you thought was completely healthy. She was a dog that was full of life and full of joy. And only 2 days before she collapsed, she was playing and she was happy and she was going on her walks. Now, it's important to talk about grief because grief comes in waves, and grief equals the amount of love we had for someone or something. So the more love you have for someone or something, the stronger your attachment to that person or that animal, the more deep and the more intense your grief will be. And this is the case with losing my darling dog. I cannot put into words how extremely painful this is. And it's nearly been 3 weeks since I've lost her, and I have to say I haven't really felt any better. I still miss her immensely. I still go over her last few moments in my head. I still ask myself, could I have done more? A very big part of grieving and losing someone so suddenly is that you're filled with all of these what ifs. And these what ifs can be really difficult to deal with. You may think, what if I'd done something sooner? What if I'd made a different choice when I was at the vet hospital? You keep replaying the events and the thoughts over and over again in your head, but this isn't actually going to change anything. Having these thoughts gives you an illusion of control, but in reality, that control is not there. Your pet has died and there's nothing you can do. The bond that we have with our pet is so pure and so strong. And when we lose them, our love has nowhere to go. It goes into the memories we have of them. We look at their toys and we miss them. It's very, very difficult when you lose someone or something. That love is still there. It still remains. The hardest thing when you lose a pet is that you feel such an immense responsibility for that. You think it's your fault that they died, that you didn't look after them enough, that you didn't give them enough medication when you should have, or you should never have taken them to the forest. In my case, I wished she'd never gone to the forest because that's probably where she got bitten by a tick. That's probably how she got infected. But she was on anti-tick medication, and the vet told us that it isn't actually 100% reliable. So we were helpless. We couldn't have known. And of course, whenever she's had a tick, we've removed it. But we never thought this would happen to our little dog. Another thing that I noticed in the last couple of weeks is I've had immense feelings of guilt. I feel guilty for not taking her to the vet soon enough. I keep thinking I should have done things differently, but actually the more I think of it, the more I realize that there isn't anything I could have done. There is literally nothing I could have done to prevent this. Our minds choose guilt over helplessness because in those moments it may feel like we're doing a bit more. A very important thing to remember is that when we lose a beloved pet, our mind knows logically that it's a good thing to euthanize our pet, right? Because euthanizing a pet is a kind thing to do. You put them to sleep and you don't allow them to suffer anymore. But your heart isn't able to actually accept that. So logically, we understand that euthanizing is the best thing we could have done for a pet, and being there and holding them until their last breath and thanking them for all that they gave us and loving them and telling them that we'll see them soon. But our heart is dying. We are heartbroken. We will no longer have that little being in our life giving us such joy with all the funny things that it does, all the beautiful moments that it shares with us, all the joyful moments, all the walks. All of the things that you share with your pet are so, so special, even more so than some of the things that you may share with another human. So when you lose a pet, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to allow yourself to feel those emotions. If you try and deny them, if you try and push them away, that is only going to prolong your grief. So for me, I knew how this was going to go. I knew that I had to feel that pain, that I had to cry to let out that loss, that pain, that love that I had from my little girl. And I'm making this video in honor of her because I wanted many of you out there to know that it's okay to have profound grief, that it's okay to take time off work. It's okay to feel deeply sad, and it's okay to miss them every day, every moment of your day. The way that I am trying to honor my beloved Dowla is I still go on the walks that we always did in the mornings, at lunchtime, and in the evening. I have a little box of her hair, which I smell every day, and it gives me that comfort that there's still a tiny little piece of her with me. I have a beautiful shelf where I've made art in her honor, and I have put her collar and a few of her favorite toys. And I went to the woods with my partner and we buried a bit of her hair in the soil right next to where she was digging, trying to find a rabbit, and she was so happy. So we go there every week, and we say hello and we walk around there in her memory. I know that these things don't replace the loss of our pet, but she will always be in our memories. She has changed me as a person. She has helped me be more in the moment. She has helped me appreciate things that I never did. And I get emotional talking about it because it's so raw still, it's so fresh. But I loved that dog. I adored her. She was an absolute cutie, and she adored people, and she made so many people smile on our walks because she would wiggle her bum every time someone walked past her. Sometimes that would even get annoying because I may not have been in the mood that day to talk to that person, but she loved people, so I just had to let her be herself. The last thing I wanted to say was that when you experience really sudden pet loss, that can actually be quite a traumatic experience. So give yourself grace. Give yourself the chance to fully recover from this, to get over that initial shock. If you live with CPTSD, this may hit you even harder. Try and reach out to other people that understand, that have also lost a pet, and that also know how incredibly painful this is. You may come across people that don't get it, that tell you, get another dog, it's not a big deal. They don't get it. They've not had a strong attachment to an animal before. Those are not the people you need to go to for support. You go to the people that love animals, that live for animals, that want animals in their life. They will understand the pain. When pet loss is shocking, when it's traumatic, you will keep replaying things in your head over and over again. That's because you're trying to make sense of it. And that's also okay. That's also normal under the circumstances. I think with the passing of time, that will lessen. And if you're really struggling with that, if you're really noticing that this is going around in a loop over and over again, it may be worth exploring an EMDR session with a therapist that can help you with processing that in a way that it no longer is so active in your mind, because you don't want to be stuck there, because that's extremely painful. Another thing that I experienced when I lost my dog was I suddenly felt extremely unsafe again. I felt so much anxiety, like I couldn't understand how this could have happened to me. Like, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? You know, for her to be taken away from me so young. She could have lived till she was 14 or 15. 8 is not really that old. At the same time, I knew that 8 wonderful years is better than none. And I don't regret a minute of choosing to have her in my life. Lastly, I wanted to say that grief is not tidy. Yes, there have been theories on different stages of grief, but I just look at it as waves of grief. So it comes and goes. There may be moments where you feel completely numb, and in those moments you feel guilty for not missing your loved one. But that's perfectly normal because your body has to cope with the grief. Like, you can't be in this distraught, deep sense of grief all of the time because you need a break. So if you have days where you're numb, that's okay. If you have days where it's overwhelming, that's also okay. You may even have a day where you have a giggle. You may see an old video of your dog and it makes you laugh. That's also okay. You can feel whatever it is that comes up for you, and don't judge yourself for it. Just allow it. Allow it to be present. Give yourself the time to grieve. And then if in the future you feel strong enough and you would like to get yourself another dog, another cat, or another pet, then you can do that. But you have to remember that that animal will never replace the pet that you had, because they were unique in their own way. And it's okay to want another animal in your life, because they are such a wonderful gift, especially for those of us with a lot of loss in our life, with a lot of trauma. And for those of us who don't have a big support network, our animals can be everything. So I think this video may have helped me a little bit process my grief as well. So thank you so much for listening and for watching. If you would like to share in the comments about a pet that you lost recently, then please feel free to do so, because I know that this sharing is going to help other people going through the same thing at the moment. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, for allowing me to share this with you from my own perspective. And I wish you a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.